Myself, Dr. Kirayendra Reddy, lecturer in chemistry. In this video lesson, I will explain about electrochemistry. First, what is electrochemistry? Here, electrochemistry is a branch of chemistry which deals with the relationship between electricity and chemical changes. It is a well-known fact that during electrolysis of copper sulfate solution, copper deposits over the cathode. This shows that electrical energy produces chemical reactions. Electrochemistry has a great engineering and industrial importance. Since the laws of electrochemistry are used for the development of important technical processes like extraction and refining of metals, synthesis of organic and inorganic compounds, electroplating, electrotyping and electroprinting, electrochemical machinery, electroanalysis of trace elements, and construction of electrochemical cells, etc. In this video lesson, various aspects of electrochemistry should be studied. History of electrochemistry. English chemist John Daniel and physicist Michael Faraday both credited as founders of electrochemistry today. The English scientist William Gilbert spent almost 17 years experimenting with magnetism and to a lesser extent on electricity. Oxidation reduction. The term redox stands for reduction oxidation. It refers to a electrochemical process involving electron transfer from a molecule or ion or atom. The atom or element or molecule or substance which loses electrons is known as reducing agent. The atom or element or molecule or substance which accepts electrons is known as oxidizing agent. When it comes to flow of electric current, all the materials are classified into two types. They are conductors and insulators. First, about insulators. A substance which does not permit the passage of electric current through it is called as insulator or non-conductor. Here in this slide you can observe that the plastic cover on wire, that is metallic wire, is acts as insulator. Rubber is acts as insulator. In the same way, glass is also acts as insulator. Non-metals except graphite are insulators. Wood is also a insulator. Wax is also a insulator. Insulators like plastic and rubber are used as a covering for electric wires. This makes electric wires safer to handle because the insulator protects you from the current. Conductor. The substance which permit the passage of electric current through them are called conductors. These substances may be solid materials, metals or fused salts or aqueous solutions. Here on the screen you can observe the copper wire, aluminum wire and steel. These are all example for conductors. Conductive material or metal is used for wires that will carry electricity. Here Here on the screen you can observe that plastic cover is acts as an insulator, whereas the copper wire is acts as conductor. Next about electrolytes and non-electrolytes. Electricity can flow only when there are free moving charged particles present. In a solid, the free moving charged particles must be electrons. As shown on the screen, in a liquid, gas or solution, the free moving charged particles must be usually ions. In the bottom of the screen, you can observe that the ions present in the solution. These ions are responsible for the conduction of electricity. Substances whose aqueous solutions are conductors of electricity are called electrolytes. Substances whose aqueous solutions do not conduct electricity are called non-electrolytes. Organic compounds are usually non-electrolytes. Electrolytes provide free moving ions to water, whereas non-electrolytes do not provide free moving ions to water. On the screen you can observe that electrolyte dissolved in water. When electrolyte dissolved in water, it dissociates into positively charged particles as well as negatively charged particles. These positively charged particles and negatively charged particles are responsible for the conduction of electricity. On the screen right side, non-electrolyte dissolved in water. See here, this non-electrolyte substance is not dissociated, so it cannot give charged particles. When there is no charged particles in solution, no conduction of electricity. Pure solid metals can conduct electricity due to the moving of electrons. Melted ionic substances can conduct electricity like sodium chloride. When sodium chloride melted, it can conduct electricity. When it is subjected to heating, it undergoes melting. This takes place due to the movement of ions. Aqueous ionic substances can conduct electricity. When an ionic substance is dissolved in water, it undergoes dissociation and forms charged particles. Those charged particles are responsible for the conduction of electricity. For example, sodium chloride when dissolved in water, it immediately dissociates into Na plus and Cl minus. This Na plus charged particle and Cl minus charged particle, those are responsible for the conduction of electricity. Next about electrolytes. The conductors which permit flow of electric current in the fused state or in aqueous solution are called electrolytic conductors or electrolytes. Electrolytes conduct current due to the movement of ions towards the oppositely charged electrodes. Chemical reactions takes place in electrolytes due to the flow of electricity. Hence, mass of electrolytes decreases. The conductivity of electrolytes increases with the increasing of temperature. Example: acids, bases, and salts dissolved in water and molten salts. Here on the screen you can observe that sodium chloride solid is dissolved in water. Water is in liquid state. When it is dissolved in water, it dissociates into Na plus and Cl minus ions. Here the Na plus is indicated by plus sign and Cl minus is indicated by minus sign. Here this Na plus and Cl minus are hydrated. That means when sodium chloride is dissolved in water, it dissociates into charged particles. Those charged particles are stabilized by the hydration of water. Because of that stabilization, it is dissociating. Now these charged particles are responsible for the conduction of electricity. How do electrolytes conduct electricity? The presence of ions in solution is responsible for the conduction, and when the current passes through the wires, it shows the movement of free electrons through wire. Hence, the conduction is because of electrically charged ions which can migrate to the oppositely charged electrodes. Under the influence of voltage, this process of dissociation and flow of ions in aqueous solution of electrolyte is known as electrolysis. Based on the extent of ionization, the electrolytes are divided into two types. They are strong electrolytes and weak electrolytes. First, about strong electrolytes. The electrolytes which ionizes almost completely even at moderate concentration are called strong electrolytes. The conductivity of strong electrolytes is high due to containing of more ions. Example: strong acids like HCl, hydrochloric acid HNO3, nitric acid H2SO4, sulfuric acid, etc. Strong bases like KOH, potassium hydroxide, NaOH, sodium hydroxide, BaOH2, barium hydroxide, etc. And salts like NaCl, sodium chloride, KNO3, potassium nitrate, CuSO4, copper sulfate, etc. Weak electrolytes. The electrolytes which ionizes partially at moderate concentrations and having low conductivity are called as weak electrolytes. Example: weak acids like CH3COH, acetic acid, HCN, that means hydrogen cyanide, H2CO3, that means carbonic acid, H3BO3, that means boric acid, and weak bases like NH4OH, that means ammonium hydroxide, MgOH2, that means magnesium hydroxide, AlOH3, that means aluminum hydroxide, etc. And salts like AgCl, that means silver chloride, BaSO4, that means barium sulfate, etc. Here the dissociation of acetic acid and ammonia are shown on this. Here on the screen you can observe that On the left side, there is HCl is dissolved in water. Here it is a strong acid. When it is dissolved in water, it dissociates almost completely and gives large number of ions. When there is more number of ions, its conduction is more, its conductivity is more. On the right side, a weak acid such as carbonic acid, which is dissolved in water, here it does not dissociate completely. That means only few number of charged particles are present in solution, so its conductivity is less. That means here conductivity is directly proportional to the number of ions present in the solution. If there is more ions, ions are nothing but charged particles. When there is more charged particles in the solution, the conductivity is more. When there is less number of charged particles in the solution, the conductivity is less. On the screen left side, sodium hydroxide is dissolved in water. On right side beaker, ammonia is dissolved in water. When sodium hydroxide is dissolved in water, it ionizes almost completely. That means if you take 100 sodium hydroxide molecules, out of 100 get dissociates into Na plus and OH minus ion. That means if you take 100 NaOH molecules, we will get 100 Na plus and 100 OH minus ions. For example, if you take ammonium hydroxide like base, it is a weak electrolyte. In case of ammonium hydroxide, if you take 100 ammonium hydroxide molecules, out of 100 only 10 to 15 ammonium hydroxide molecules dissociates into NH4 plus and OH minus ions. Strong electrolytes versus weak electrolytes. First, about strong electrolytes. Strong electrolytes are compounds that completely dissociate into its ions when dissolved in water, whereas weak electrolytes are compounds that partially dissociates into its ions when dissolved in water. Strong electrolytes. Strong electrolytes can completely dissociate into ions, whereas weak electrolytes can partially dissociate into ions. Strong acids, strong bases, and some salts are strong electrolytes, whereas weak acids, weak bases, and some salts are example for weak electrolytes. The next about non-electrolytes. These substances which do not permit flow of electric current in the molten state or in aqueous solution are called non-electrolytes. Example: sugar, alcohol, glucose, distilled water, turpentine oil, etc. Non-electrolyte dissolve as molecule in water. It do not produce ions in water, do not conduct an electric current. On the screen, in case of non-electrolytes, there is no light in bulb. In case of weak electrolyte, there is little amount of light in the bulb. In case of strong electrolyte, there is extensive current in the bulb. That means more light in the bulb. The reason is, in case of non-electrolytes, there is no free charged particles in the solution. In case of weak electrolytes, there is few charged particles in the solution. In case of strong electrolytes, there are many number of or more number of charged particles in the solution. Electrolytes versus non-electrolytes. Electrolyte, when dissolved in water, allows for electrical conductivity, whereas non-electrolyte, when dissolved in water, does not allow for electrical conductivity. Electrolyte, it produces ions when dissolved in water. Non-electrolyte, does not produce ions when dissolved in water. Electrolyte, substances which were formed by ionic bonds. Non-electrolyte, substances which were formed by covalent bonds. Example for electrolytes: acids, bases and salts. Example for non-electrolyte: organic solvents like benzene, chloroform, and substances like sugar, glucose, etc. Now, distinguish between metallic conduction and electrolytic conduction. Metallic conduction: the flow of electric current is due to the flow of electrons, whereas in case of electrolytic conduction, the flow of electric current is due to the positive and negative ions. In case of metallic conduction, there is no transport of matter during the flow of electricity. In case of electrolytic conduction, there is a actual transport of matter during the flow of electricity. In metallic conduction decreases with increase in temperature. This is due to the increase in the kinetic energy of the electrons. In case of electrolytic conduction increases with increase in temperature. That means, as the temperature increases, the rate of dissociation of the electrolyte increases. That means, a production of more number of ions. As the number of ions increases, the rate of conductivity is also increases, since the conductivity is directly proportional to the number of charged particles present in the electrolyte. Metallic conduction: the flow of electricity occurs without any chemical decomposition. In case of electrolytic conduction, the flow of electricity takes place with the decomposition of the electrolyte. Next, about Arrhenius theory of electrolytic dissociation. This theory was proposed by Arrhenius, a Swedish chemist, in 1887 to explain the behavior of electrolytes. Neutral electrolyte, when dissolved in water, it split into charged particles. These particles were called ions, and the process was termed as ionization. Here, the positively charged particles were called cations, and those having negative charge are called as anions. Here, the Arrhenius theory of electrolyte dissociation assumes that the ions are already present in the solid electrolyte, and these are held together by electrostatic force of attraction. When placed in water, these neutral molecules dissociate to form separate anions and cations. Here you can see that Ab is a solid electrolyte. When it is dissolved in water, it dissociates into A plus and B minus. Here this A plus is called as cation and the B minus is called as anion. And here the dissociation of Ab into A plus and B minus is called as ionization of electrolyte Ab. For that reason, this theory is referred as electrolytic dissociation theory. The ions present in solution constantly reunite to form neutral molecules. Thus, there is a state of equilibrium between the undissociated molecules and the ions. See here, there is a dynamic equilibrium between undissociated electrolyte Ab and, and its dissociated ions A plus and B minus. When we apply the law of mass action to the ionic equilibrium, we have K equal to product of molar concentration of A plus and B minus by the molar concentration of AB, where K is called as the dissociation constant. The charged ions are free to move through the solution to the oppositely charged electrodes. This is called as migration of ions. This movement of the ions constitutes the electric current through electrolytes. This explains the conductivity of electrolytes as well as the phenomena of electrolysis. Here, the electrical conductivity of an electrolyte solution depends on the number of ions present in the solution. Thus, the degree of dissociation of an electrolyte determines whether it is a strong electrolyte or a weak electrolyte. We know that electrolytes dissociate in solution to form positive ions, cations, and negative ions. They are called as anion. Here, electrolyte AgNO3 silver nitrate on dissociation gives us Ag plus NO3 minus. Likewise, CuSO on dissociation gives Cu2 plus SO2 minus. Here this Cu2 plus is called as cation and SO2 minus is called as anion. H2SO4 on dissociation gives 2H plus SO4 2 minus. As the current is passed between the electrode of the electrolytic cell, the ions migrate to the opposite electrodes. Thus, in the electrolytic solution of silver nitrate, the cation Ag plus will move to the cathode and anion NO3 minus will move to the anode. Usually, different ions move with different rates. The migration of ion through the electrolytic solution can be demonstrated by the following experiment. In this, you can observe that the migration of ions through electrolytic solution to opposite electrodes. Here cation Ag plus are moving towards cathode, that is negatively charged, whereas the anions NO3 minus are moving towards anode, that is positively charged. Here the properties of solution of electrolytes are the properties of ions. The solution of electrolyte as a whole is electrically neutral unless an electric field is applied to the electrodes dipped into it. There are two types of electrolytes, those are strong electrolytes and weak electrolytes. Strong electrolytes are those when dissolved in water are completely dissociated. Dissociation is nothing but ionization into ions of positive and negative charges. The total number of cations and anions produced are equal to those in the formula of the electrolyte. Here aluminum sulfate Al2SO4 taken twice undergoes dissociation to give 2Al plus 3 plus 3SO4 minus 3. Here it is SO4 minus 2, not minus 3. Here NaCl, KCl, AgNO3 etc. are few examples of strong electrolytes. In the case of weak electrolytes, there is a partial dissociation into ions in water and an equilibrium exists between the dissociated ions and the undissociated electrolyte. For example, acetic acid. If you take acetic acid, there will be a dynamic equilibrium between the undissociated acetic acid molecules and the dissociated ions like acetate and H plus. Here acetic acid is a weak electrolyte in water and ionized acetic acid molecules are in equilibrium with the, that means unionized acetic acid molecules are in equilibrium with the acetate anions and H plus ions in solution. Here the ratio between the number of molecules dissociated into ions to the total number of molecules taken initially is called as degree of ionization or dissociation. Here the degree of ionization or dissociation is denoted by the symbol alpha. The degree of dissociation is equal is sorry here the degree of dissociation or ionization is the ratio between the number of molecules dissociated into ions and to the total number of molecules taken initially. Here the degree of ionization increases with dilution and at infinity dilution it approaches unity, that is dissociation is complete. That means the maximum value for degree of dissociation or ionization is 1. Further, the ionization of electrolyte depends on the nature of solute, nature of solvent and temperature. Next, electrolysis of sodium chloride. Here electrolysis is the combination of two words, those are electro and lysis. Electro means EMF, lysis means decomposition. So the process of decomposition of an electrolyte by the passage of electricity is called electrolysis. In the electrolysis, electrical energy is converted into chemical energy. That is, chemical reaction takes place due to the passage of electricity. Electrolysis is generally carried out in a vessel known as electrolytic cell. The electrolyte is taken in the cell in the form of solution or in the molten state. Two platinum wires or rods are placed in the electrolyte which acts as electrodes. The electrodes are connected with the help of copper wires to the two poles or terminals of a battery. When electricity is passed through the electrolyte, the ions move towards the oppositely charged electrodes. Chemical reactions occur at the electrodes with the formation of decomposition products and the current flows through the solution. Electrolysis of sodium chloride. Two commonly used methods of electrolysis involve molten sodium chloride and aqueous sodium chloride. Here these two gives different products. As we have discussed, electrolysis is the passage of direct electric current through an ionic substance that is either molten or dissolved in a suitable solvent. This results in chemical reactions at the electrodes and separation of materials. Two commonly used methods of electrolysis involves molten sodium chloride and aqueous sodium chloride. You might think that both methods would give the same products, but this is not the case. Let's go through each of the methods to understand the different process. That means the electrolysis of molten sodium chloride and electrolysis of aqueous sodium chloride gives different products. First, about electrolysis of molten sodium chloride. If sodium chloride is melted and two electrodes are inserted into the melt and an electric current is passed through the molten salt, then chemical reactions takes place at the electrodes. A commercial electrolysis cell for the production of metallic sodium and chlorine gas from molten sodium chloride. Liquid sodium floats to the top of the melt above the cathode and is drained off into a storage tank. Chlorine gas bubbles out of the melt above the anode. Sodium ions migrate to the cathode where electrons enter the melt and are reduced to sodium metal, like in the equation. Na plus get electron from cathode and deposits as Na. That means the positive charge or the electron deficiency of the sodium atom is fulfilled by the electron given by the cathode. Here the chloride ions migrate the other way towards the anode. They give up their electrons to the anode and are oxidized to chlorine gas. That means the excess electron of chlorine atom is taken by anode. After losing this excess electron, Cl minus converts to Cl. The overall reaction is the breakdown of sodium chloride into its elements. If you take 2 moles of sodium chloride, you will get 2 moles of sodium and 1 mole of chlorine gas. That means when fused or molten sodium chloride is taken as an electrolyte in the electrolytic cell and 2 platinum rods are dipped in it, which acts as electrodes. When they are connected to the 2 terminals of battery, the electrodes connected to the positive terminal is called as anode, and the electrode which is connected to the negative terminal of the battery is called as cathode. On passing the electricity through the electrolytic solution, the Na plus ions moves towards the cathode and Cl minus ions moves towards the anode. Cl minus ions lose electrons and converts into chlorine atoms. Then 2 chlorine atoms combine and liberates as chlorine gas, whereas sodium ions are converted into atoms by gaining of electrons. These Na atoms are deposited at the cathode. Here in this diagram, we can observe the electrolysis of molten sodium chloride. When molten sodium chloride is subjected for electrolysis, first it dissociates into Na plus and Cl minus ions. The negatively charged Cl minus ions are attracted by the positively charged anode. Here this platinum rod is acting as anode, means it is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. You can see it. Whichever chloride ions are attracted by the positively charged anode are liberating as chlorine gas. Now the positively charged Na plus ions are attracted by the negatively charged electrode, that is cathode. Why it is negatively charged? Because it is connected to the negative terminal of the battery, and this Na plus ions are depositing as Na, that means sodium metal. Here at anode the chemical reaction takes place is Cl minus after losing electron converting into Cl. By combining two Cl atoms, it is liberating as Cl2 gas, whereas Na plus after getting electron from the cathode, it is converting as Na. In the examination, we may have a question like this: find out any 4 differences between electronic and electrolytic conductors. Or define the term electrolyte, or define the following terms: A, strong electrolyte; B. Weak electrolyte. C. Non-electrolyte. We may have a question like this. Briefly explain about Arrhenius theory of electrolytic dissociation. And what is meant by electrolysis, and explain the electrolysis of molten sodium chloride with the help of chemical equations. Thank you.